Hey guys, welcome to another video of Sense Saga. My name is Deep, and in this video, I am going to cover the House of Brown and the three perfumes, which are basically Havelock Wave, Shillong Breeze, Spiti Storm. Okay, now before I get started with the video, I do want to ask you this one question. Like, when an Indian house launches one perfume, or maybe say a few perfumes, what are the key criteria for that perfume to go, become successful or become unsuccessful? You let me know your answers. According to me, I feel that the juice quality, the presentation, and the pricing, these are the three things that are really important when a perfume brand is starting out. And through the lens of these three things, we are going to judge the House of Brown today. And by the end of the video, I am going to share my overall perspective, whether you should go for the perfumes or kind of skip it for the time being. Okay, full disclosure, the perfumes were basically sent to me by the House of Brown. Okay, and the name of the person that I interacted with was Nagesh. He is a really sweet person, and I had the same conversation that I have with any other brand. Like, I don't do paid promotions. If I really like the product, I'm going to highlight them, and if I don't, like, it's completely something that I don't like, which has happened with a few brands, which I don't want to take names of, but I will not highlight them. He basically sent me these 8 ml vials to test the perfumes, and I wish a full bottle of some perfume was sent, because that way I would have checked how the actual bottle, which a person will be buying, if they are going for not the tester but rather a full bottle, how it would have looked, what would have been the atomizer like, and everything for the full bottle. For the smaller bottle, I'm gonna come to that, like the presentation and everything, but let me start off with the packaging, which is basically the branding. I liked it. Okay, it's minimalistic, but at the same time done pretty nicely. Okay, this looks professional, there is no problem. It doesn't feel cheap or done badly. Okay, it's good. And in the box, the tester that he has sent me, the name of the perfumes are written over here, okay, as well as over here, and the branding is actually nice. I basically asked Nagesh, like, why the House of Brown, and he said that the perfumes that he is blending, although they are kind of inspired by some designer fragrances, he wanted to ensure that the perfumes are kind of suited for the Indian weather and the Indian skin. And that is the reason House of Brown, because we are kind of in the middle when it comes to the color of our skin. It's kind of brown, so that is the reason they went with the name of House of Brown, which basically means like a perfume geared typically towards the brown skin. Okay, I think it's a unique take or a unique angle, with the naming convention. Now, in terms of the name of the perfumes, I found that to be interesting as well, like Havelock Wave, like Shillong Storm. I have been to all these places like Spiti, Havelock, Shillong, so I do have a lot of fond memories. But when it comes to the perfume, are they representing something of that particular area or geographical location? I don't think so. The names are cool, but they don't represent the geographical area, okay, by any means. For example, this one, Havelock Wave, is basically their take on the DNA of Rasasi Hawas. Okay, Spiti Storm is basically their representation or rendition of Dior Sauvage, and this one, which is Shillong Breeze, is kind of their rendition with Most Wanted by Azzaro, the EDP intense version. Okay, so before I get started with the perfumes in itself, I saw the website that they have, and I really like the overall approach to the website as well. It's minimalistic, but at the same time it's done nicely. It has got the proper information. And one feedback I could have given is, in case these perfumes are safe for the skin, or they have some sort of IFRS certification or something, they should be listed. In case there is no such certifications for the time being, I have seen some brand mention apparel perfume in their boxes, so as to make sure that the perfumes are only applied on the clothes and not on the skin. Something could have been done in that similar ballpark. I'm not saying like you need to do something like this, but that kind of imparts a lot of confidence in the consumer. Also, the concentration of the perfumes are eau de parfum, but even though they're eau de parfum, I felt that the concentration of the perfumes are really strong and potent. Like, I have seen a lot of brands mention eau de parfum, and when I spray the perfumes, I'm like, it's not. In this case, the entire outlook is quite different. The moment you spray it, you're going to notice like this is quite potent and quite present, and it starts projecting like, crazy. So let me start off with the first perfume, which is basically going to be Havelock Wave. Okay, this is basically their take on Rasasi Hawas, and it's not like that exactly one-to-one copy of Havas. What they have done over here is they have somehow amped up that ambroxan note. I mean, if you consider the 2017-2018 batch of Havas, remember how potent or how strong the projection felt like over a period of time. Now in 2025, it feels like the Havas projection has reduced a bit. Well, this kind of brings back that old memory of Havas. I don't think it's a 2017-18 batch, but it's a very old batch of Havas that I have tried. Over there, the projection was really, strong. This kind of gives me that same vibe. And at the same time, the aquatic note, which basically gave that eggy-like feel because of the note of calone, that is kind of reduced over here. So what I basically feel is this is kind of that Havas DNA, but it's amped up, it's more potent, and kind of like the bubblegummy sweetness is over there. The aquatic notes are a bit reduced, but at the same time, this does justice to the Rasasi Hawas DNA, and this is very strong, to be honest. I mean, there is a high probability that you're gonna go nose blind very soon after you have applied it if you are doing it in the top half, which kind of will make you feel like the perfume is not projecting, but it projects for like crazy, like 1 to 1.5 hour. It projects really strong, and the overall longevity that I have got with this perfume in the current weather, where our city is transitioning from summer to the monsoon, and at this particular point in time, this perfume has stayed with me for almost like 6 to 7 hours when I have applied it on the clothes, making it a really good perfume which offers good performance, good longevity, and smells good as well. And if anybody is looking for the Rasasi Hawas DNA, you can actually go for this perfume. But who should avoid this perfume and who should go for this perfume specifically, like Havelock Wave? So as of now, Rasasi Hawas has got a massive price drop, like 2200, 2300. I basically bought an Hawas Ice from Aroma, so I am aware of it. Like, the perfumes are genuine, and at the same time the pricing has reduced. So in case you're going for these perfumes, like the pricing of this perfume is $9.99 for a 50 ml. So technically for a 100 ml you're spending around 2000 rupees. So maybe for like 200 to 300 rupees more, you're going to get the original Hawas. So at that, if you put that into comparison, should you actually go for this perfume? The answer is going to be yes as well as no. See, if you want to get Rasasi Hawas and you only want the Rasasi Hawas DNA, then in that case, I don't think you should go for this one. Pay 200 rupees more and have that mental satisfaction of owning Hawas. Like, very clear. But in case you don't want to spend 2200 rupees, because Rasasi Hawas is not coming for 50 ml, right? In that case, this is available for $9.99. So you pay less and you get lesser quantity, which is true. But what this will offer is much more stronger, potent presence, much more stronger, potent performance, and the overall longevity of this perfume, like as of now, is 6 to 7 hours, but that entire performance of this perfume is going to be like the old Hawas batch. And also, this particular perfume do not have that eggy cologne like note, which a lot of people, I'm not going to say everybody, but a lot of people actually kind of notices, and they do not prefer that. So for those people, I feel like Havelock Wave is actually a good option, and this is going to be a super versatile daily driver perfume that you can buy. Okay, now let's move on to the next one, which is their perfume called Spiti Storm, and this is the rendition of Dior Sauvage. And in terms of the smell, I think that this lies particularly between EDP and EDT. It is kind of very close to the middle ground, and to be honest, this perfume is done really nice. I mean, better than Havelock Wave in my opinion, in terms of the way this has been created, because over here nothing is out of proportion or nothing is like, unbalanced or disbalanced or something like that. It's a very good perfume. And to be honest with you, I have tested number of clones of Sauvage, and finally I settled upon two perfumes, which is Arabian Aroma's Sauvage and Afnan's Modest Une. Afnan's Modest Une at this point in time sells for around 2400 rupees to 25 and even 2700 rupees in some areas. And to be honest, at that price point, Afnan Modest Une is actually a good perfume. Don't get me wrong. Same with like Arabian Aroma's Sauvage, which is available for 700 rupees for a 50 ml. However, this kind of sits right between the two when it comes to the overall, aspect of judging it as a perfume, because this is actually more stronger than Arabian Aroma's Sauvage, but I mean almost similar to Afnan Modestune. But Afnan Modestune offers a better blend quality, which I think this has done rightly, but it's kind of like this. If I have to give 7 to Arabian Aroma in the blend quality, I would give this an 8 and I would give Modestune a 9. That is how I see it. So somehow, somewhere I feel like this is the perfume that you should get in case you don't want to go for Arabian Aroma Sauvage and you don't want to spend more on an Afnan Modestune as well. This sits rightly between the two, making it a really good option for somebody looking for the Dior Sauvage DNA. And over here, what I personally felt was the citrusy notes and the spicy notes, which are accompanied by the lavender in Dior Sauvage, is done very, very, very nicely over here. And I don't think I need to talk about the DNA of Dior Sauvage. It's been talked about a lot. All I can say is, if you want something which is smelling like Dior Sauvage, don't want to spend on an Afnan Modestune, and also don't want to purchase an Arabian Aroma Sauvage, this is where I think Spiti Storm by the House of Brown can be a really good option. Projection around an hour, overall longevity 6 to 7 hours when applied on the clothes, making it a really, really good option for the price that it comes at, which is 999 for 50 ml. And over here, I won't say there is something that House of Brown can do, but overall my feedback I'll provide at the end of the day. So let's move ahead with the last perfume, which is going to be this one, which is Shillong Breeze. And this is a perfume that is like one of my favorite from the 3 that House of Brown has sent me. This is their rendition on Azzaro Most Wanted EDP Intense, and this is a more sweet, a bit more caramelized, a bit more toffee heavy version, where I felt that the cardamom or the spices that are over there in like Azzaro Most Wanted, it's over here, but the entire blend is a tad bit different to the EDP or the Parfum. And over here I felt that although it's in the same ballpark, but there is some twist and changes that has been done by House of Brown. This feels a bit more better for the Indian weather, because over here the sweetness is a little bit, I'm not saying the sweetness is mellowed. All I'm saying is the spices and the sweetness is kind of balanced over here to a better extent. But at the same time, what I felt with Intense Wayfarer when I reviewed it, which is kind of out of stock as of now for quite a long duration of time, which I said was one of the best Azzaro Most Wanted EDP Intense clone out there, right? This is not the best clone in terms of the smell quality, but I can say like this is one of the best in the same DNA that you can purchase. The reason I'm going to talk about is the performance and the presence. Okay, EDP Intense, like Intense Wayfarer, is kind of a bit more airy and a bit more lighter when I compare it with this one. That perfume sells for around 1400. This is 999 for a 50 ml. However, there is another perfume which is from a very popular clone brand, you can say, which basically offers the perfume for 999 as well for a 50 ml. Now, when I compare it with that particular brand, this is way, way, way better. The smell of that perfume was very close to the Most Wanted. This is also very close to the Most Wanted, but this is done better. Like in terms of the projection, in terms of the performance, this is way better. And the only difference that I could feel with Intense Wayfarer is this is a bit more potent, a bit more dense. Compared to Intense Wayfarer, it's a bit more airy, but at the same time, this has got some nuance differences in the way the spices, the sweetness is kind of balanced, but at the same time, it's not something that you're gonna smell and say, oh my god, this is not EDP Intense from Azzaro. Rather, you're gonna say this is very close to Azzaro EDP Intense, Most Wanted EDP Intense, but at the same time, it is a tad bit different, but in a good way. Now, I talked about the 3 perfumes, I talked about how they're good, like the projection, performance and everything. With Shillong Breeze as well, the overall projection was around 1 to 1.5 hours and the overall longevity was also around 6 to 7 hours when applied on the clothes, making it also a very good worthy option. But if everything is so good about the perfumes, then what is bad? Well, the bad thing I feel is the pricing. Because at 999 for a 50 ml, I think the overall pricing of the perfume per 100 ml is around 2000, and for 2000 rupees for 100 ml there are a lot of competition. Like there are already existing brands which are selling for that particular pricing, and then there are Middle Eastern brands which are selling for around 1400 till 3000 depending on the brand, and they are also doing an incredible job. So at this point in time, pricing the perfumes at 999 for 50 ml I think is a bit risky. What I can suggest is some offers that you can run in your website, like a lot of popular houses are doing. Like if you purchase 3, you get some sort of discounts or something like that. But the good thing about the company is they have made testers, the 8 ml testers, available for you to check before you purchase a full bottle, which is a good thing. So if I have to suggest anything to House of Brown, I would say that the quality that you're offering, either increase it to a bit more extent so that then you can justify the pricing, like 50 ml 999. That point in time people will be like, yeah, I'm spending like 999 on 50 ml, but the quality is exceptional. Or maybe you can work on the bottle presentation and the overall, owning the perfume experience. That way also people will feel that this is justified. Yeah, I can spend that 999 for a 50 ml, or else reduce the price or offer some discounts or do something to cater to the audience monetarily, so that then also it feels justified for them to purchase the perfume. Overall, I was not unhappy with the perfumes, rather I was happy from a brand who is basically focusing on the quality aspect rather than going over the marketing aspect, like going gaga over it. So that was something that was done very nicely by House of Brown, and I would like to see this brand make better perfumes and create its mark in the entire perfume space in India. So that was kind of my overall opinion about House of Brown and how they have made the perfumes. And in case you have any queries or concerns about any of these perfumes or any perfume in particular, you can use the comment section or reach out to me via Instagram, which is Sensaga Online, and I will try my best to answer them as soon as possible. So with that, this is Deep signing off. I'll see you on the next one very soon. Bye bye.